We are here with Jamie Trillo. Jamie is one of our loan officers based out of our Falmouth, Maine mortgage office. So, Jamie, let's start by talking a little bit about how you got started in the mortgage industry.
That's a good one. It goes back quite a while. So I've been in banking since 2003. And basically, I came to a place within my career where I was managing a couple of credit union locations. And then they were like, oh, hey, by the way, a new responsibility is to learn how to do mortgages. And so I fell in love with it. And I got to a place where it just made sense to do more of that and less of the people management.
That's great. How long has it been since you transitioned to full-time mortgages?
I believe it was February of 2018 when I joined North Point, right from a local bank or credit
Okay,
union. Yeah.
great. So you really gotten your feet wet in the industry here. So as you transitioned into being a mortgage loan officer, what's something you wish that you had known then that you know now?
That's a great question. There's a lot. I mean, it was funny. I was out the other day talking to someone. I was actually getting my cell phone upgraded, and they were like, "It must be so easy to do what you do." And I think there is that perception. But I think that it's really finding what works and sticking with it. A lot of times, as I've grown as a professional, I've found that I would try something once, and if it didn't work, I'd be like, yep, moving on to the next thing. And I think if I could do it all over again, it would have been implementing a practice and then just continuing to chip away at it and knowing that you weren't going to get instant results.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great advice, not just for being a loan officer, but for anything in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what has been the most rewarding part of your job so far?
It's definitely helping folks. I love getting to the closing table. I love a challenge and really digging in and being the one that's willing to listen and provide solutions and then seeing it come to fruition has been so rewarding over the years.
So, you've been in the industry since about full time since about 2019, which was right before COVID and when things started to rapidly change. So, how have you seen the mortgage industry evolve since you got started in it?
Really, one of the biggest things. So coming in 2018, I remember not at North Point, but where I was working previously doing mortgages, it was so common to like print all of the documents and have people come in and sign. But one of the biggest ways that I feel things changed was technology wise. There are times now where I will do a transaction and I literally will not meet the people until the closing table, like physically in person. So I would say technology had to quickly evolve and we had to learn how to bring everything to a digital place because I think there were still straggling processes that were not 100% digital.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like that's made a big difference in the industry for sure.
Yes.
What has been the most effective way that you have built your client base?
I think it's all about relationships and connecting with humans. I am so, so grateful that over the many years, even before I specifically started doing mortgages, I learned how to identify a client need and really get down to their level, and understand that life isn't always on paper, that there's a lot of challenges that people are coming across, and they need a human that is going to listen to them and honor their wishes and be a team member with them.
Mhm. Yeah, that definitely makes all the difference in the process for sure. What advice would you give to someone who is just starting out in the mortgage industry?
So over the years, I have talked to a lot of newer loan officers or folks that might be struggling. And I think that the biggest thing that they do is benchmark themselves against what works for other people. And one thing that I have learned is that you've got to do what feels natural to you. I'll give an example. I was mentoring someone and they were like, hey, they do a lot of business doing like office visits and going in and talking specifically about condos, and they do this every Tuesday and whatever. But that person, it wasn't inherently natural for them to do those things. And so again, that with the consistency, they just kind of like, no, this isn't going to work for me. And I think that again, it really is coming down to doing something that you feel comfortable with, because when you feel passion and pride in the work that you're doing, it's going to come more naturally.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. That's great advice. So, especially since 2020, we've seen the market go through a lot of ebbs and flows. There's been super busy periods and a lot of slower market periods. So, how do you personally stay motivated during those slower market periods?
I believe in being self motivated. I think that being self motivated is the reason that you can maintain your busyness, so to speak. But one of the things that I personally have done over the years is trying to study the market and where a deficiency may be within the market, and really use that to market to be a solution specialist. A lot of times, what I find is that people will sit back and just say, oh, the market stinks, like, oh, I'm just not, there's no business out there, etc. You have to create that. And the way that you do that is, again, being that solution specialist. One of the things that really helped me was learning more about renovation loans. So when folks started to see that housing prices were going up, but incomes were not, it was a great opportunity. And I've been able to help a lot of folks by renovating a home that otherwise would be deemed unfinanceable. So that's one example, but it's really staying in step, and also just not giving up, going back to self accountability, really, and wash, rinse, and repeat. Do the same thing every day. It's about consistency.
So I'm sure you work with a variety of homeowners as far as life stages go, from those first time home buyers in their 20s and 30s to people in their 60s and 70s looking for that retirement or vacation home. So what's your approach to working with first time home buyers versus more experienced home buyers?
Well, first time home buyers a lot of times will come knowing very little. And I think that one of the things I learned early on was quit it with the jargon. They don't know what EMD stands for, or earnest money. Where does that come into play? So it's taking a very step by step approach to the financing and saying, okay, step one, we are going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is what this means. And then step two is this. I will oftentimes gauge folks that have had experience purchasing a home. Sometimes it's been a long time. Like, I've had people that are like, oh, I bought a house back in the 70s. Well, let's be honest. If you finance a home in the 70s, you're probably not really up to where we are today with technology and everything. So I really just ask them the question, where are you at with this? Like, when's the last time you purchased a home? Are you familiar with what the process is going to look like, so that we kind of set the stage as to where they are? And again, meeting them where they are.
Mhm. So
Yes.
how do you build trust with clients who, especially like those first time home buyers who are just so overwhelmed by the process?
I think that it really is speaking in terms that they will understand and taking that step by step approach. I think that it can be a really big turnoff when they're hearing big words. Maybe things aren't really being explained to them, following up, inviting the questions, and then thanking them for the questions. Because I tell people all the time, I only know, well, I don't know what you don't know, if that
Mhm.
makes any
Yeah.
sense. So I try to live by that principle when I work with my clients. And I think that that helps to open up that conversation and that human that we need
Mhm.
behind the transaction.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you feel is a or the biggest misconception people have about getting a mortgage?
That you need 20% down, that you need perfect credit, oh, that PMI is super, super expensive. Like, back in the day, it used to be, and there still are times where it is. But so folks will say, hey, my great aunt or somebody told me, like, make sure I always have 20% down because PMI is like super crazy expensive. And then they find out it's like $50 a month. Don't quote me on that, but
Mhm.
something far less than what they were told or what their expectations were. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. So, can you tell me a story about a particularly memorable or meaningful loan that you closed?
There's so many. It's so hard. Like, oh, gosh, I really should have thought about that a little bit more. I mean, I feel like I have them every week, and it's special for different reasons, whether it was someone that was really feeling like their current lender wasn't helping them or answering their questions, or someone that's so excited to be relocating to be with family, or maybe I'm helping someone with like a huge debt consolidation and you can feel the relief. So I can't really say that there's one specific story. I think everybody's story is special in their own way.
Mhm. So let's transition a little to talk about North Point specifically as a lender. So what do you think sets North Point apart from other lenders?
I always tell folks it's the humans. I have worked in a couple of different environments, and for me, it's the humans, it's the management. And specifically here in Maine, New Hampshire, is having that management, the humans, the underwriters, the people that are local to our area, and they understand private roads. They understand certain uniquenesses that are more specific to the northern part of the United States. But all in all, it really is the human, and they give they want the feedback rather of um the things that we could continue to improve on. And I feel like that's another thing North Point is always doing, is really just kind of improving on the processes that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then what do you feel sets you apart personally from other loan officers in the market?
It's my personality. We
Mhm.
all do it differently, right? And so
Mhm.
I actually have a huge belief that I took on in my business a few years ago, which is kind of like picking your tribe of people that when you interact with them, like you're happy, you're smiling, like you see their phone number come across your screen and you're like, yes, I want to talk to them. So, but there's a lot of awesome loan officers out there. And again, I think it really just comes down to personality, and we're not always going to jive with everybody, but
What trends do you see coming up in the mortgage industry that you are keeping an eye on right now?
trends, I mean, obviously everybody is talking about interest rates. Where are they going? They're starting to wait. This is a huge thing, guys. Like, do not sleep on this. I don't know when this will come out, but like, there's so much opportunity right now, like this summer, because there's so many people that are waiting to buy a house until the Fed interest rates go down. What they're not realizing is that the rates are actually starting to decrease. They have been most of the year. And I just think that there's missed opportunity, but we are seeing more inventory. So as far as trends, I think that the big hashtag items would be the inventory and decreasing interest rate environment and how that might play out in the market.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think the mortgage business is going to look like 5 years from now?
I think we're going to be totally digital at that point. I would be interested to see how it would metamorphose. At this point, I really haven't given that a thought. I'm in the moment. I do a lot digitally as it is. I would love to say that processes have become more streamlined, maybe quicker. I feel like it's going to be quicker. We're already talking about speed, and we've already made so many advancements with speed. I guess I myself would be very curious.
Yeah. All right, we are going to now move into some rapid fire questions. So, starting out, coffee or tea?
I do a double shot espresso every day. So coffee?
Yeah, I think that's what most loan officers have to go with, powered by coffee.
Yes.
What is the first concert you ever went to?
Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie.
Hey. What is your dream vacation spot?
Depends on the mood. If it's cold, I want to be somewhere warm. And I'm just starting to take vacations. People would laugh. I just took my first vacation in 14 years. So there's that. I'm a newbie to this.
Any place warm when it's cold. I like it. All right, what is the most used app on your phone?
Probably Canva.
Hmm.
Yeah.
If you weren't a loan officer, what would you be doing?
I'd like to think I would be a school teacher.
I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, are you an early bird or a night owl?
Would love to be a night owl, but I am working on being a reformed night owl.
What is your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
I usually walk around aimlessly in my garden.
Do you have a motto or quote that you live by?
It's not a motto, but I do like to remind myself sometimes. And it was actually a great mentor of mine that said to me years ago, I was kind of down on my luck. And she had said, when you were a little girl, did you ever imagine you would be doing what you're doing? And I just, all of a sudden, it like just makes my heart fill up because I'm like, no, I thought I would be running around with second graders. I didn't, I didn't think that I would be here making such a difference in so many people's lives.
Mm. And what is your biggest pet peeve during the loan process?
Moving money around. I do not like to ask for statements any more than anybody wants to give them to me, and I know people are trying to help, but I would say if there was one thing, it would absolutely be when all of a sudden there's like, we go from needing 2 statements to 18. It's a lot.
Yep. All right. Well, that is all my questions.
I'm happy to have been a part of this.